So this is all about a blogger talking nonsense. I don't know. We can all hope not. We sure can. Damn thing to shut up.
Podcast is done in narrated format. Hang tight and enjoy.
Program note, I'm Brent. I'm stepping in for JR because, well, another blogger's been out there talking noise about him. Like the blogger in the episode. Now, while we're at that, let's go ahead and go to the episode clip, if we can find it. Where that stupid timer doesn't keep going off. Here we go.
Why are you so angry? I want to go back to school. Do you understand? I want to go back home and go back to school. Listen, Betsy, there's something I need to tell you. JR has been sitting on stock of Nicodemus foods. He wants it all for himself. Are you telling God that company? I'm afraid so. What exactly do you want? I need $5,000. And I need to see JR as soon as I possibly can. Jennifer's dying to see him. She's missing school and going sick wanting to see him. I'm gonna do just fine. Enjoy your 10 days. You should take 10 days vacation, JR. Way I see it, you're gonna surpass your dad in Hendrick Oil.
Okay, the top song for that week was Fantasy Baby by Mariah Carey. Might say it's a masterpiece. It's kind of like, what can I say? But let's go ahead and get down to this episode. We start on October 16th at 6:30 a.m. at Swainfield. Kyle leaves to take some pigs to Pecos. At the same time, poor Christine, she's sitting at the pool area with her hands in her face when Mike Fields shows up. All right, kiddo. Dr. Conrad says, I have to take you back to the school, Mike Fields said. Back to regular school? Christine asked. No. Dr. Conrad's thinking that you should spend one more week under supervision at the infirmary. And Christine's like, oh, I don't want to go back. And Mary Fields walks in. And you might as well play that Rich Mullins song, if you could sing it, Brent. Hold me, Jesus, 'cause I'm shaking like a leaf. You have been king of my glory. Won't you be my Prince of Peace? So what's going on is Mike Fields says it might be better if Grandma's health deteriorating. Okay, so it's 8:50. Public policy class is over. JR takes the bus over to Smith Hall, and he sits in lecture hall 104. He's obviously going to be there to meet Jack Daly and with C.B. Coleman. He gets a Butterfinger and Dr. Pepper before going into the lecture hall. Trademark. Our rhetoric professor, Tim Barnett, said that was his calling card. And JR got inspired to do that, which I thought was crazy. And CB's like, I call you out. Toby DeWire, the director of the Small Business Administration in St. Paul, Minnesota, laid into your daddy for purchasing Bristol Monarch, not to mention helping you get on all his stock. And Jack Daly, it's obvious he's pouring all the charm. Don't worry. I got the name of a stockbroker in Fort Worth that does business to your daddy. Some guy named John E. Blanche. Don't mind your daddy. The big guy is J.R. Hendrick. I think Jack was trying to coax J.R. to look past Karen. That he didn't need her. That he was the big guy. Not his daddy. He certainly didn't need to do it for Karen. And so Jack shakes J.R.'s hand and walks out. And C.B. Coleman said, you should be praying. You should be focused on your studies. You missed the evening devotional last night. And I have to tell you, I asked Evie Cassidy to marry me. And she said yes. A few weeks before, when JR went to the ranch with Brent and Ken, C.B. Coleman went to Odessa to see his cousin and met Jack Daly at church. Well, I suppose you know the good news. With a business page launched of the campus newspaper, I am now the lead business columnist, Jared said. I guess so. But you got a senior advocacy paper that you have to start working on in February. Be thinking about that. So he shakes Jar's hand and leaves the room. So there's a retro flashback, 1 hour. It's 8 a.m. Central. Brad is finishing his run around the dock pond at UTBB. And he goes and sits at the pavilion table with Karen. Dude's flexing his muscle. And Brad's like, that's fine. And Karen's like floored. She's like, it's just your foolish pride. Foolish pride. It sounds like the same thing between JR and Karen. And Brad says, come on. I'm a nice guy. What if I wasn't hitting on you? I'm like, God, Brad. Brad. Bradley Phillip Wynn. First one to get the bell. Yeah, JR told me that he got mad at JR for making a pass on one of the girls. Brad was always kind of warped. And yeah, Karen gets up from her chair at the table. Don't you act like that when I'm dating Dino. That I'm dating the devil. That sounds like a spoiler. Okay, so it's 1 p.m. Outside one of the ranch barns, Kyle is angrily chopping wood. Country music is blaring from the barn as Kyle has a drink in one hand. There's a bottle of bourbon he got from his father Christmas in 1992. They didn't get JR anything, but sure they got Kyle. And Madison's like, Kyle, come here. Madison said, just leave me alone. And Kyle's like, just leave me alone. He's muttering under his breath. And she says, Kyle, damn it, come on. And he, he's just like, I don't know. Like he's giving the verb, telling him to go away. And she's like, at least, damn it, talk to me. You know, when I was pregnant with George, and Willie would leave me alone for hours, I really and stuffed my feelings. And then Mama sent me to a Methodist reverend who taught me how to talk things out. You should too. And Kyle is about ready to lose it. He chops a huge block of wood. Okay, let me talk to you. Damn it, Madison. The person I need to be talking to right now is Daddy. But he's away in Washington, D.C. James Moorhead is dead. Frank got insane. It's hard for me to talk to my pregnant wife right now. Kyle, oh buddy, oh pal. Bell time. I mean, he's annoying. I've actually been to the ranch a few times with JR and him, and I've seen him play with his cane. I told him to knock it off. And so Madison's like, you need to stop distracting yourself. You need to start confiding in me. Damn it, all year, you're always gone. Drifting. Always working on this damn ranch. And you barely even talk to me. And Kyle's screaming mad. He smashes the bottle, half-empty bourbon, against the wall of the barn. Chops a big block of wood. 2 p.m. At the Smith Hall Library, J.R. asks Lucinda to get a hold of John E. Blanche, a stockbroker who does business from Lubbock, Texas, all the way to Fort Worth, including offices in Midland, Odessa. Just like Granddad used to use dowsing rods to check for fertilizer under the earth at the ranch. I'm getting ready to file for the SEC to bring Hendrick Foods private. 14 shareholders. Should be easy, Jared said. Okay, so it's 4 p.m. Central. Christine meets in the library with a new friend of hers that is a senior at Midway Prep, Alexa Bowser. You know, it's kind of it's kind of a switch around from the last name Bowers. You know, Jennifer Bowers. But, you know, Bowser. In the Super Nintendo game, don't remind me. Don't remind me. The ending should have been, period. Regardless of the outcome. That you just put Bowser in the Stone Age, and that big python creature stomps on him and kills him right then and there. Just stomps on him and kills him right then and there. We don't like Bowser. Because he keeps capturing the princess. Okay, so now it's 4 p.m. Central. Okay, we talked about... Okay, so Alexa says, Christine, uh-oh. Don't tell me you're in a relationship trouble with a boy. And so they sat down with Rice Krispie treats and talked. And Christine's like, I wish it was me. Early last year, my brother started dating this girl. And he brought her to the ranch. I think he was hoping to marry her. But she said no. Anyway, she was a primary relation to him. And he went nuts over her because she was packing up to go away to London before he could even ask her for marriage. Christine, it's highly likely that your brother is probably out seeking for yet another primary support. But don't take my word for it. There are too many factors to deal with this. Like, why they decide to fall in love? Alexa. So it's 8 p.m. Central. Christine is brought into the office of Dr. Conrad for a little chat, and she's like, so how was the weekend back with your folks? And Christine's like, don't know why you keep doing this. Okay, I accepted that Daddy has gone to Washington, D.C. He's doing what he has to do. I forgive him. How do you know? How do you feel? And Christine's like, how do I feel? And she's doing a brain dump, no? She wants to go back to school. No, regular circulation like the other kids. And she wants a boyfriend. And it's like, you want to say, Christine, you're not going to get a boy. Okay, so we're now on the 17th. It's in the evening. 5:30 p.m. Jara is in political analysis class, where Dr. Kinghorn is lecturing about quasi-experimental design. He's intrigued by Dr. Kinghorn's theory of the political feedback loop when he uses a quasi-experimental design for citizens in West Texas measure support of sustainability for small business, regardless of what's going on in the Senate. Okay, so it's 9 a.m. the next morning of the 18th. Dr. Conrad asked Christine to take a break from her history class. And as she lies in the infirmary, she asked for her computer, where she reads the first blog of John Henry back in Texas. The article was, believe it or not, a keen mental health history of JR from Jennifer's engagement denial to his summer in D.C. and his rising back in Lubbock. Ironically, John had posted JR's college schedule for the fall of 1995. Ain't that plagiarizing? Or at least giving away primary and secondary data without attributing the source. I think that's why JR was on a mission. Another incident like that. Only something a lot deeper, of course. It's not college. Now he does teach one law and public affairs course. And JR's like, and Christine's like, damn, JR, you did the right thing by letting her go. Because Christine's feeling kind of sad for, 1 p.m. Jim, this is Eastern, of course. Jim is facing a grueling testimony in the House chamber, which is being hosted on, we call this C-STAN. C-S-T-A-N. He's testifying about his agenda for 1996. Faith-based initiatives for small business. Federal protections for small business. Congressman Jens Myers tries in defending his position against Democratic Congressman Roger Frost of Arlington, Texas, and Bill Hume, but to no avail. 2:45 p.m. Central. Christine walks outside of biology class, after class, to be accosted by John Henry. And Christine's like, Pete's sake, what's the controversy now? Christine said, your brother's in Fort Worth, which is where I'll be hitting Friday night. I know you got the tape recorder in the bag. Call him right now. So she gets a tape recorder, inserts a cassette, and she calls JR. So he's at the Hyatt when his cell phone rings, and it's obvious it's Christine. And she says, JR's like, well, hello, sis. And of course, John Henry answers. And JR's like, well, how are you doing, John? I need you to come back to West Texas, Stat. And JR's like, what the hell is going wrong? Jenny's telling me that she needs to see you to make amends. And JR's like, well, I guess I've been hiding from the truth for too long. And John says, I know she hurt you, but through no fault of either of you. You're to be commended, JR. And we both have to see you Friday, ASAP. Damn, you drive a hard bargain. And John's like, you can still be friends with her. Now, sir, man to man, We both know the game that Charlie Nation played. And Jared's like, I'll just own him. Until he's not. And John's like, no, just hold it. And Johnny told me about all the heartache that he caused you. In the Assemblies of Christ, smoking cannabis is a serious sin. But, since you were under duress, it's forgivable. Charlie was the star from hell. But for a time, you were like the shining sun for Jennifer. Christine, take this phone. I can't keep going through this. Thanks to my dorky brother. You have to see them. I'm getting your dorm room number for Mama, and you'll see them. Mark my words. I used to blame Daddy for all this crap, but it was inevitable anyway. Okay, so it's 3 p.m. Central. Meanwhile, as Charlie's in Fort Worth, he's working on some financials in order to find another girl. Betsy's back at the ranch and is playing an electronic organ keyboard that Jimmy had given JR for his 7th birthday. Sounds like me. Yeah, that's one thing your house misses is that, isn't it? Yes. Someday we can work on that. Wonderful little ivories. Electronic keyboard. After school for years, JR would sit there for hours after doing his homework, sometimes playing the organ, but Betsy is playing a composed piece that reminds her of the ranch that she created on her own. Suddenly Madison walks in, having the governess and Andrew put George and Andrew down for a nap, and she goes to talk to Betsy. Betsy, I'm sorry, but Kyle needs to talk to Jim again. Is that possible? Madison said. He was supposed to take me to dinner tonight, but he's doing business for the ranch at some bar here in Ridgewood. And Betsy says, I bet you'd like some iced tea. And of course, no. Madison wants her signature Long Island iced tea. But Madison's like, I'm sorry. I should have given Jim's number instead of holding on. The state wanted to give him Jim's name because I put on the birth certificate. Okay, that's Betsy. I put on the birth certificate. But I said no. But he needs Jim. And I don't know what to do. And Madison's like, join the club. I also don't know what to do. Oh, Kyle. He's jealous of JR. He's jealous of Christine. And he's shutting me out. And Betsy's like, oh no. So Christine comes in. It's like, well, what's she doing back in school already? She's in supervision. And she says, Mary's taking me to get some more of my things to go back to the infirmary in time for dinner. And so Betsy says, what if Kyle talks to Christine? And Madison, Miss Betsy, look at her. She's awfully preoccupied. And Betsy says, okay, then let me talk to him. And Madison's like, he's hungry now, I just don't know. And Betsy, Mama, she said, Maddie, you forget. I used to have to take a horsewhip to him, to Kyle, to get him out of bed. Maddie, I know something is wrong. After 2.5 years of marriage, and I'm not going to let him keep treating you this way. So let me talk to him. I got this. So it's 6 p.m. Central. As his father is having a reception with his dream team, Jack and Lucy Robertson, and Constantine and Hillary Bush, JR is in the Texas Tech Alumni Club having dinner with lawyer Paul Baxter. And Paul has said he's giving JR's recommendation to the law school for him. And JR's like, well, you know about me taking my company private. And Paul says, so that's why you're in Fort Worth. Don't worry. Mr. Blanche will see you in the law library downtown. That's okay. So 9 p.m. Fort Worth. JR is meeting with John E. Blanche, and he's talking about that. And he says, "Well, I know how to do company public, private. Only know a thing or two. Have you contacted the other shareholders? Severance package is on the way." And he said, it'll be a couple of weeks. And JR says, resplendent. Set it in motion. And of course he walks out. So now we go to the some stuff that's pretty hard. And here we go. Okay, so it's the following night, the 19th, 7 p.m. Dinner that night at the ranch was spaghetti. And they were all about 5 minutes into dinner when Grandma Elizabeth was unwell and collapsed. And Betsy's like in a panic, "Oh my God, Mama!" And Savannah, the night nurse, she said, "Miss Betsy has a stroke." And Kyle's like, "Madison, call 911. Okay, so it's 7:15. An ambulance from Ridgewood Emergency is there, and 5 paramedics determined that Grandma Elizabeth had a stroke. They advised that Ridgewood Emergency did not have the adequate needs for stroke, so she would be transported to Midland Memorial Hospital. Okay, 9 p.m. at Midland Memorial Hospital. Dr. Samuelson orders another dose of IV TPA. He goes out into the hall and he says, "Look, Mrs. Hendrick, I don't know what to tell you, but stroke is pretty advanced. We are transferring her to UMC in Lubbock. Dr. Steitzer is a state and national board certified neurologist. Also, Dr. Theodore, her main doctor, has been advised he will meet you in Lubbock." And so this orderly comes and says, "We're getting the helicopter ready now." So the doctor says Betsy needs to come. She runs out of the hospital and gets in the helicopter. And she phones Cotton Madison to say that she is going with Grandma Elizabeth to Lubbock UMC. But not to tell JR. Okay, so it's 5 a.m. Central. Karen is awake after reading her Bible. And everything is peaceful until there's a knock at the door. Karen, let me in. "Are there gifts?" Brad said. So she lets him in. And she says, "I'm not interested in watching Green Hills with you for the 18th time, Brad." And Brad says, "Well, I'm not bringing hot chocolate and s'mores. But that can happen." Brad. Just like JR. Stop flirting with Karen. Seriously. Okay, so it's 10 a.m. at the ICU hallway, and Betsy's waiting there, and Kyle shows up. And he's like, "How is she?" And Betsy's wife said last night she couldn't speak, but today she can talk. They say she's bedridden from here on out. Dr. Theodore is supposed to be here today to consider hospice care. And Kyle says, "Listen, Mama, if you want a heart-to-heart, forget it." And Betsy says, "Is it true that you don't want to talk to me and Madison about your problems?" And Kyle's like, "No." And Betsy puts on this stern mama face that comes on every once in a while. "Yeah, it's true, isn't it, Brent?" And she's like, "Don't play me, kiddo. I know you too well. Tell me what's wrong." And Kyle is going on brained up. Pretty much has happened this year. Madison got pregnant. Oh, Mama. I'm thinking about naming him after James Moorhead. I don't know why she ain't left me. And he said Claude and I went on a deal with Sarge. Well, Claude's out, and Sarge and I struggled. $23 million. And she says, "Kyle, you forget who you're talking to. Granddad has $19 billion in the ranch. I can help you." Okay, so it's 10 a.m. JR is relaxing in the study lounge at Gordon Hall. Christy Murray had canceled class today because she and Dr. Harlan flew into Nashville to present this weekend at Vanderbilt University. Okay, so it's 10:30 a.m. Karen just emerged from the Eliza R. Snow School of Social Work when she runs into Brad. Normally, yeah. Moment of truth. Moment of truth. Time. Brad don't know his goose is cooked. But today... Okay. But today, it was up in braids. And he's sucking on a cream soda. So he's talking to a group of economics professors gathered around him. They asked Brad a few questions. When Karen's grandfather approaches, he's not right for you, Arthur Harmon said. And Karen's like, Grandpa, I know. Too creepy. I'm seeing somebody else. Oh, yes, Dino Macion. That's your people. Not J.R. Hendrick or Bradley Wynn. Now, at the same time, J.R. not knowing that Betsy was on campus, she and Kyle walked into Smith Hall. And it just seemed almost to me, Betsy is kind of softly whispering in Kyle's ear, kind of calming her, like she always did. Ooh, child, things are gonna be easier. Ooh, child, things will be brighter. Ooh, child, things are gonna be easier. Ooh, child, things will be brighter. Brett, could you sing the last part? Someday, things are gonna be easier, yeah. Someday, things will get brighter. So, they walk into Smith Hall, and they go down to Smith Hall, Lecture Hall 112, where Dr. Kinghorn is with Midland banker Webster Arkenstone. That's who Jim used for his loans during the 70s to the mid-80s. And, of course, Christine is still in English class at the time. And so Betsy figures it's time to fix things with Kyle. But at the same time, we go back to Odessa University College. And so the economics professor says, well, now, Bradley, I happen to say you know more about supply side economics than some of our best doctoral students. Dr. Farrell, the chairman of the economics department, said. So meanwhile at Smith Hall, Dr. Kinghorn tells Arkenstone about the loan, and he says of the $23 million, the bank could only loan Kyle $10 million. And Betsy says, but now listen. He says, but now listen, Betsy. I can tell you what your oldest son is doing. You see, he has 5 million shares of stock. And he went to Fort Worth this week to try to go the company private. he's winning in the asset column. And Dr. Kinghorn says that, and he says, not to mention all this work with the company. I thought that maybe he would get a C so far in this course. He's making a B plus. And Betsy's like, "Are you telling me he's a multibillionaire?" And he says, "Yes." Well, I'm going to find out why he's doing this. And she says, "Kyle, I can loan you the other $13 million." And Kyle's like, "No, forget it. Forget all of it." Okay, so it's 12 p.m. Christine calls a car service back to the ranch. Christine pays the fare and a tip and taking her luggage. She walks into the ranch to find Madison and the kids. Okay. She feeds Andrew, Madison, and then helps her put the kids down for a nap. See, wait a minute. She couldn't just check herself out of school like that. And JR said that with Jim and Betsy sometimes gone, or otherwise preoccupied, Jim had put all prep school papers for all three kids that Mike Fields was a de facto guardian ad litem in those situations. Okay, so at the same time, outside Gordon Hall, a man and woman walk arm in arm in the Gordon Hall as the man holds a paper copy of today's blog that he just published. Christine was back home, relieved. The whole ordeal of the infirmary and with John Henry could finally be over. Okay, so as Christine is drinking white wine with Madison, the phone rings, and it's Betsy telling Madison that they could not go out today because of Grandma Elizabeth. And plus, she had to see JR. Okay, so it's 2 p.m. in Lubbock University College School of Business in the library. Okay, that's the University College. Karen tells Brad that even though they would always be friends, she was getting serious and didn't know. And she could never see herself dating him or JR again. Brad places the braids out of his hair and walks off in a huff. Now, at the same time, at JR's dorm room, Betsy knocks on the door. He answers, and he lets him in. "Mama." He's pouring Dr. Pepper. "JR, I really need to talk to you." "Mama, I'm expecting company." Just then, Jennifer and John walk nonchalantly into Gordon Hall with the help of another student, an RA most likely. And they slowly make their way to Gordon Hall 104. And John says, "Let's see what JR has to say about a lifelong friendship." So, inside the dorm room, Betsy is talking to her son. "You earned your birthright," Betsy said. "You were always a curious boy, and I was afraid that would get you into trouble." But you were never in any trouble. You've always been planning and dreaming. And I never thought ever that you're the big guy, JR. Suddenly, a loud knock at the door. James Ryan Hendrick? James Ryan Hendrick? JR, Jennifer says. She rushes over and hugs him. How are you doing? I want to thank you for letting me go. For accepting my engagement to John. But Charlie was such an idiot and a dork. So, there we go. With that, it's kind of a freeze frame, if you will, on JR. Let me see if I can find something to drink here. I think I got some water. We're going to have a drink, huh, Brent? It's a good episode. It can be hard to follow. Well, here's a Pepsi. That's even better. $4.8 Pepsis and a plagiarized blog. 4.1 Pepsis. A plagiarized blog and an audience for Jennifer Bowers. Okay, guys, we will be back next week. The next episode will be called Sam Won Debate. So get ready. God bless you guys. Hope you enjoy listening to the J.R. Hendrick Texan Gentleman. Whoop, wrong button. Hope you enjoy listening to the J.R. Hendrick Texan Gentleman. If you like what you hear, please subscribe and become a part of the adventure. This is the James Hendrick Empowerment Network saying until next time, take care and get ready to watch and listen to the rest of the story. It gets a lot more interesting from here.